Today, we're diving into something very important, something that could literally make the difference between food security and hunger in uncertain times. With rising food prices, supply chain disruptions, and unpredictable events all around us, one question keeps popping up: how can families prepare and make sure they always have food on the table? The answer is simpler than most people think. You don't need acres of farmland, you don't need advanced gardening skills, and you don't even need a huge budget. What you do need is a little bit of space, some patience, and the right choice of crops. And in this video, I'll share with you the top simplest crops every household can grow in case of emergencies. These are beginner-friendly, nutritious, and most importantly, they give you peace of mind. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which crops to start with, how to grow them, and even how to preserve them so that your family is prepared for whatever comes. And trust me, if you stick around until the end, you'll see how even people living in small apartments can join in and grow their own emergency food supply. When we talk about food security, we have to face the reality: the modern food system is fragile. We've seen empty shelves in grocery stores, we've seen inflation skyrocket, and many families are struggling to stretch their grocery budgets. Growing food at home used to be something our grandparents and great-grandparents did out of necessity. Today, it's not just a hobby, it's survival. And while that might sound dramatic, it's the truth. Now here's the good news: you don't need to be an expert gardener to grow food that matters. Even if you've never planted a seed in your life, the crops I'm about to share are forgiving, productive, and incredibly useful in emergencies. They provide calories, vitamins, and long-term storage potential. In other words, they're your survival toolkit. Before I dive deeper into the crops you should grow, let me share a little story that shows just how powerful home gardening can be in times of crisis. During World War II, something amazing happened. Food shortages were real, rationing was strict, and supply chains were stretched thin. But instead of panicking, people came together and created what were called victory gardens. These were homegrown gardens planted in backyards, schoolyards, empty city lots, and anywhere there was a bit of soil. Families, neighbors, and even children pitched in. In the United States alone, more than 20 million victory gardens sprang up. And together, these little home gardens produced an incredible amount of food, about 40% of all vegetables consumed in the country during the war. Think about that for a second. Nearly half of the nation's vegetables didn't come from giant farms or imports, but from ordinary people, just like you and me, growing food at home. The same thing happened in the UK, Canada, and even Australia. People grew carrots, beans, peas, lettuce, potatoes, and tomatoes, simple crops that anyone could manage. They weren't professional farmers, but they were determined, and their effort paid off. Victory gardens not only filled plates, they boosted morale. Families felt in control, communities bonded together, and people discovered the joy of eating food they had grown with their own hands. And that's the same spirit I want you to carry with you today. Because while we might not be in a world war, we are facing our own challenges: rising food prices, uncertain supply chains, and global instability. And just like our grandparents and great-grandparents, we can take action. By planting even a small garden, you can build resilience, reduce your dependence on the supermarket, and give your family security no matter what happens. So when I say emergency garden, I want you to think of a modern victory garden. It's about reclaiming the power to feed yourself and turning it into peace of mind. Let's begin with one of the most famous survival crops of all time. Potatoes, the calorie king. Potatoes are, without a doubt, one of the best survival foods you can grow. Why? Because they're high in calories, filling, and versatile in the kitchen. You can boil them, bake them, mash them, or fry them. Historically, people have survived on potatoes for months at a time. And the best part? They're so easy to grow. All you need are seed potatoes, which are small pieces of potato with at least one eye, planted in the soil about 3 to 4 inches deep. If you don't have land, no problem. You can grow them in buckets, bags, or even old laundry baskets. As the plant grows, you simply mound soil around the stems, encouraging more potatoes to form. In just a few months, you'll have a harvest that can be stored for months in a cool, dark place. Imagine the security of having bags of potatoes ready when food becomes scarce. Right alongside potatoes, we have their sweet cousin, sweet potatoes. These thrive in warmer climates, love sunshine, and are packed with vitamins like A and C. What makes sweet potatoes amazing is that you don't just eat the tubers, the leaves are edible too, giving you greens while you wait for the roots to mature. Planting sweet potatoes is easy. You start with slips, which are little shoots grown from a mature sweet potato. Space them about a foot apart, give them sunshine and loose soil, and let them spread. In 3 to 4 months, you'll have a crop that not only feeds your family but also stores well for the winter. Now, if potatoes and sweet potatoes are your calorie backbone, then beans are your protein powerhouse. Protein is often the hardest thing to secure during an emergency, but beans solve that problem. You can grow bush beans, which are compact and quick, or pole beans, which climb and save space. Either way, you simply push the seeds into the soil after the last frost, water them, and wait. Within weeks, you'll be harvesting fresh beans, and if you let some mature, they'll dry right on the plant, giving you beans that store for months, ready for soups, stews, or grinding into flour. Beans are truly the survival crop that keeps on giving. Next on our list are carrots. Carrots are nutrient-dense, packed with beta-carotene, and great for long-term storage. They're also one of those crops that you can leave in the ground and harvest as needed, especially in cooler climates. Planting carrots is as simple as sprinkling seeds in loose, sandy soil and thinning the seedlings so they're about 2 inches apart. In 2 to 3 months, you'll be pulling up crunchy, sweet carrots that can be eaten fresh, cooked, or even fermented. And here's a bonus: if stored in sand or sawdust in a cool place, carrots can last for months. No emergency garden is complete without onions and garlic. These 2 crops aren't just flavor boosters, they have medicinal properties, boost immunity, and can last months when stored properly. Garlic is planted in the fall. Simply separate the cloves, plant them pointy side up, and cover them with soil. By summer, you'll have beautiful bulbs ready to cure and store. Onions, on the other hand, can be planted in early spring using sets or seedlings. Both crops deter pests in your garden and bring incredible flavor to every meal, which is crucial when you're relying on simple foods during emergencies. Now let's talk about cabbage. Cabbage is one of those hardy vegetables that grows well in cooler weather and can feed an entire family with just a few heads. But its true survival value comes from its ability to be preserved. Think sauerkraut, a traditional way to ferment cabbage that adds probiotics and extends its shelf life for months. Imagine growing a simple crop, fermenting it, and having jars of nutrient-packed food to pull out during winter or hard times. That's the power of cabbage. Of course, no list would be complete without tomatoes. Tomatoes are flavorful and versatile. You can eat them fresh, turn them into sauces, can them, or dry them. They're rich in vitamins and add flavor to almost any meal. Start them from seeds indoors or by seedlings, give them sunlight, and provide support with cages or stakes. In a few months, you'll be harvesting juicy fruits that can be preserved for winter meals. Tomatoes are the ultimate emergency crop because they can be transformed into so many shelf-stable foods like sauces and pastes. And speaking of versatile crops, I can't leave out peppers. Peppers are one of the most rewarding plants you can grow in your emergency garden. They don't just add flavor and spice to your meals, they also provide essential vitamins, especially vitamin C, which is critical for boosting immunity in stressful times. The beauty of peppers is that they come in so many varieties, so you can grow exactly what your household needs. Let's start with the sweet peppers, also known as bell peppers. These are mild, crunchy, and kid-friendly. They're perfect for fresh eating in salads, stir-fries, and stuffed dishes. You can also chop and freeze them for long-term storage, and they keep their flavor beautifully. Then there are banana peppers and pimento peppers, slightly sweet, tangy varieties that are fantastic for pickling. Pickled peppers are one of the easiest ways to preserve food, and jars of them can last months or even years on your shelves. Of course, many households also love a little heat, which is where hot peppers come in. Jalapenos are a popular choice because they're not overwhelming, and they can be eaten fresh, roasted, or pickled. If you like something spicier, cayenne peppers and Thai chilies are excellent options. They dry beautifully, meaning you can grind them into chili flakes or powder for seasoning all year round. And then there are the fiery ones like habaneros or ghost peppers. Not for everyone, but if your family enjoys heat, they'll add a serious punch to your meals. Growing peppers is simple. They love warm weather, lots of sun, and well-drained soil. You can start seeds indoors a few weeks before the last frost or pick up seedlings from your local garden store. Space them about 18 inches apart, keep them watered but not soggy, and once they take off, they'll keep producing all summer long. And the best part? The more you harvest, the more they give. In an emergency context, peppers are incredibly valuable because they allow you to flavor and preserve food in so many ways. Think about it. In a time when your meals might revolve around staple crops like potatoes, beans, and cabbage, adding peppers brings variety, excitement, and nutrition to your diet. And as we all know, flavor can make all the difference when you're relying on simple foods. When you have enough of them, you can preserve them by picking, freezing, roasting, or drying and storing them properly. So whether you go for sweet peppers, mild ones, or the hot and spicy varieties, make sure you include peppers in your emergency garden. They're a small plant with a big impact. Let's move on to leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. These are fast growers, some maturing in as little as 4 weeks. That means you don't have to wait months to eat from your garden. You can start harvesting fresh salads in a matter of weeks. Kale and chard, in particular, are cold-hardy and can survive frosts, extending your harvest into late fall and early winter. In Nigeria, greens like waterleaf ugu, shoko, tet are easily grown in the garden. The cut-and-come-again method means you harvest the outer leaves while letting the plant keep producing, giving you a steady supply of greens. Then there's zucchini, the most generous plant you'll ever grow. One zucchini plant can produce so much food that you might struggle to keep up with it. And that's a good problem to have in an emergency. Plant zucchini seeds after the danger of frost, give them space and sun, and in just 45 to 60 days, you'll be swimming in zucchinis. They can be eaten fresh, baked into breads, frozen, or even dehydrated. Truly, zucchini is a survival gardener's dream. Let's not forget about corn, the energy food. Corn has been a staple food for centuries. Not only can it be eaten fresh, but it can also be dried and ground into flour, extending its usefulness far beyond harvest season. During the Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 1970, the Igbo people, also known as Biafrans, faced severe food shortages. While corn was not the primary food, it was used, particularly as cornmeal, to supplement the diets of vulnerable populations like the elderly and children suffering from kwashiorkor. But today, it has become a major food when mixed with beans. Plant corn in blocks, not rows, to ensure proper pollination, and in about 3 months, you'll have ears ready to pick. The beauty of corn is that it can provide both fresh meals and long-term food storage options. Finally, let's talk about something smaller, yet equally powerful in an emergency garden: herbs. Herbs might not seem like a survival priority at first. After all, they don't provide the bulk calories you'd get from potatoes or corn. But here's the thing. Herbs are multi-purpose. Examples include basil, rosemary, cilantro, parsley, mint leaves, scent leaf, and oregano. They can be planted in little containers and placed on your windowsills. They bring flavor, healing properties, and long-term preservation benefits. And when you're relying on simple meals during hard times, that extra flavor and nourishment makes all the difference. Now, preservation. Herbs are some of the easiest crops to store. Hang them to dry, freeze them in ice cube trays with water or oil, or make herb-infused vinegars and oils. All of these methods extend their usefulness long after harvest. In an emergency, herbs might not keep you full, but they keep you healthy, motivated, and creative with your meals. And sometimes, that's just as important as calories. So while herbs don't take up much space in your garden, they offer incredible value. If you're starting an emergency garden, don't overlook them. They prove that even the smallest plants can have the biggest impact. So those are the top emergency crops: potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, carrots, onions and garlic, cabbage, tomatoes, peppers, leafy greens, zucchini, corn and herbs. Together, they form the backbone of a survival garden, providing calories, protein, vitamins, and long-term storage options. But here's the thing, you don't need a big backyard to start. Many of these crops can be grown in containers, on balconies, or even indoors with enough light. Potatoes in buckets, lettuce in shallow trays, tomatoes in pots, and beans climbing a balcony railing. Vertical gardening is your friend if space is limited. And what happens when you harvest more than you can eat? That's where food preservation comes in. Potatoes and onions are stored naturally in cool, dark places. Carrots can be buried in sand to keep fresh. Zucchini can be sliced and frozen. Tomatoes can be canned or dried. Cabbage can be fermented. With just a little effort, you can stretch your harvest for months, ensuring your family always has food security. Imagine this: a crisis hits, grocery stores are empty, but you walk outside and harvest dinner from your garden. You pull up potatoes, gather fresh greens, pick some beans, and add a jar of preserved tomatoes from your pantry. That's real food security. That's peace of mind. So my message to you is this: don't wait. Don't wait for the next crisis, the next shortage, or the next price hike. Start your emergency garden today. Even if it's just a few pots on your balcony, even if it's just a small raised bed in your backyard, every seed you plant is an investment in your family's future. Which crop will you start with first? Potatoes, beans, or maybe something easy like lettuce? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your plans and ideas. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Mary's Pot for more content on food security, survival gardening, and simple ways to protect your household. Remember, food security starts with a single seed. Plant it today, and it could feed you tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy gardening and stay prepared.